good afternoon after the lunch, actually. I hope everybody will be awake listening to the presentations. I put there 25 years of mobile because that's my life in mobile industry. Unfortunately, that's the 25 years of my life. I will just go through the not only the 3G part, but I will just to put everything into perspective, what was happening before, as much as I can remember, you know, and then what's happening, what started to happen after 2003 when we launched 3G services in the country. I work for Three. I look after the RAN and devices strategy and architecture. Okay, so I just put it there because I came to UK in 2001 and I joined, actually it was a transfer from Hutchison to Hutchison, from Sydney to UK. And in 1993 I was in Sydney, Australia, working for Optus. But before 1993, that was the communication device in our generation. This was pre-1993. I grew up in Turkey, and there was a humongous amount of waiting list to get one of those. And when we got one, I remember very well, my mom just basically saw a small cover for that just to make it dust-free or just to protect it from scratches or everything. And it was sitting right on top of the TV, which was quite predominant place. So that was, so from my mom's point of view, it was extremely important. It was a communication device. She was able to pick up the phone and ring her friends or somebody. So this is going back long, so many years. Anyway, I remember that as well. We used to dial a number to connect us to international numbers. Of course, maybe this is going back too far away, but that's the picture I was able to find. People used to read newspapers on the trains or on the buses. They were relaxing. They are smoking, but it's this different story. People used to relax and sleep on the trains. They were good days, actually, really. You don't have any other means of doing anything else. That's the only thing you do. You relax. You are going to work or coming back home. Relax. We had GSM or analog, mobile phones as well. But only if you were Mr. Cooper or the rich or had a lot of money, you were able to use them. Then in 1993, I was with Optus, and GSM arrived, which was, I have to say, that was the biggest project. I think I always say, wherever I present, I believe GSM has been a great success. And 1011, that was my first phone on GSM. That was it. And we had, I think the battery life was half an hour or so. So we were testing the network with extended battery, and it was getting really bulky. So we had we used to hang them on our belts. It was, after a while, it was getting quite heavy and hot as well, quite warm. But again, you understand this. It is first generation phone, and things moved on very quickly after that. Then we were able to use phone mobile, so you are contactable everywhere. And I remember very, very well when GSM first came on the bus or on the bus, not on the trains, because there wasn't any coverage those days. And if somebody's mobile rang, people would get embarrassed. You know, they used to go in and then basically hang up straight away. It was kind of, you know, you don't want to show off. Those days, you know, it maybe shows my age. And then, of course, GSM. I'm not going to go to GSM because there were great presentations for GSM. And it wasn't in the UK either. My experience is way back in Sydney, Australia. And 900 started, 1800 came up, microcells. We did all these. Sydney had 2 layers, microcell, picocells, indoor, outdoor. We started to build frequency hopping. So we started to shrink the reuse from 7, 4, down to 3, and started to put some data with GPRS. But if you really think about it, we were moving towards some kind of spread spectrum kind of concept. And guess what? 3GPP came up. And how it came up, you know, we heard from Stephen, actually, it's very, very political or technical, huge challenges, we were sure, but it made a big difference in our business. As Nigel mentioned, Hutchison has been in this country for many, many years. And they built Orange and then turned it into a global, very successful business. When they sold it, they had, you know, we had quite a bit finances, and then we bid for 3G licenses. I'm not going to go into how much we paid, who paid how much. It's a whole day kind of discussion. Maybe not. But on 3rd of March 2003, we launched our UMTS network. And it was one of the first launches in the world, because, all right, there was a Japanese system, which was very similar to Isle of Man, pre-release 3 or 4, or 2000, release 1999, or one of those non-standard system. But again, you know, it was one of the commercial 3G, fully 3GPP compliant system. I mean, many people said actually we rushed. We launched before it was mature. Yes or no, you can, you know, argue looking back. But the date sounded quite right. We are 3, and we launched on 03, 03, 03. That I believe O2 missed that day for launch. 02, 02, 02. That's a different story. So we had a first generation handset. It is still up there, outside. I just went out actually to check if there were 2 cameras or only 1. And there are 2 cameras on it. It was, as a first generation 3G handset, I thought it was extremely impressive kind of terminal to start with. It was able to do, it was doing voice calls, video calls, data up to 384 kilobit per second. Location services, we had a fantastic server which was downloading the location of course it was cell-based. And music downloads, we were able to, you know, download the musics and video as well. So, okay, was it as fast as 4G or HSDPA? No, it wasn't. But again, we were able to do those things. Then what we did in 2001, we got FA Premier League rights in the UK. I think we were getting ready for data, basically, in 2001 and 2003. 2005, 3 Italy launched first mobile TV in Italy as Hutchison Group, part of Hutchison Group. And again, you can always argue on was it successful or not. That's different kind of concept, but technology point of view, we launched a service in Italy, which attracted a lot of people's attention. It was first time a mobile operator launching a mobile TV. And then the business moved into a different direction, but it was there. And then we introduced different kind of innovative ideas, dual downloads of music. But again, if you really look at this, it was all a walled garden. Everything was happening in our network. The applications, music rights, and Premier League. We are doing a trial, so you know. So it's all I don't know where it's coming from. All under our control within our network. We launched a service, See Me TV. It was quite interesting kind of service. People were able to upload their videos, like their cat or anything, you know, their house or somebody building something. And when they uploaded, if somebody watches that TV, this video clip, they would pay, say, 5 or 10p. And 1p of that was going to the originator of the video. So basically, we were paying whoever created the video, we were paying a percentage of whatever we were making. So it was extremely interesting kind of service. And there was a huge amount of interest. And I remember one day, actually, somebody made £100 from that particular service. Just you know, trying to be different, trying to do something which is data oriented. And then 2006 came. It was sort of, we were trying different things, and you know, our whole strategy was mobile internet. Somehow we had to get there. We had to make data on mobiles and easy for customers to use. So what we did actually, mobilization of internet. We came up with X series in November in 2006. So what X series was actually was to break down all the walls. We opened up our network to internet. And there were, of course, those days there wasn't an iPhone or any Apple or any Google, Android kind of devices. We used Nokia N73, and those terminals were able to do what we wanted to achieve. And there may be other types as well, but that's the one I was able to find at the moment. So customers were able to make Skype calls, Skype to Skype. We had Sling Media and Google, eBay, Microsoft. I don't know specifically what Microsoft is, but and a few other services. But the important one actually was customers were able to use off-net kind of services. And Skype was quite interesting concept. We started to play with Skype, and we launched our own terminal. We called it Skype Phone. And it was, we were able to make Skype calls to another Skype user and not get charged for that. And then, of course, things change. I mean, this 2006 was for us a learning curve. How can we play? How can we really, what can we do in the network using mobile and the data and internet? And suddenly, 2007, HSDPA and iPhone came up. And of course, things started to move on from then on. And we had the right platform as well. In 2006, we had this X series. All right, we didn't continue with X series, but we had the right platform and mindset to be ready to be ready. And I presented that slide in, I guess in 2008 or 9. And I was showing this one and saying that, wow, look at the data traffic in the network. From 2007 till 2008, in how many months? I don't know, 6, 7 months. The growth was so many times. And we will see actually how the growth is now. And is there any slowing down or not? And to be honest, this is not only on our network. This is every single mobile networks in the UK or overseas. Everybody was experiencing very similar kind of pattern. So if you look at our timeline, 2003, we launched the network, X series 2006, HSDPA, and we got a sharing agreement with T-Mobile to share the network and be a bit more efficient. It was quite successful actually with T-Mobile to share the cost specifically. Instead of having 10,000 sites, or maybe that's a bit exaggeration, 6,000 sites, we ended up with 12,000 sites with less cost, kind of, because of the volume, you can get even discounts. And then in 2000, I believe it was 13, I think. When did we launch? A couple of years ago, we launched LTE, I believe. It's like you know, yesterday. And then we launched 4G LTE network, and we claimed that actually we are not going to charge customers extra for that. So it was business as usual. If you have got 3G SIM, it was enabled 4G, and people were using 4G. And also we mentioned about the roaming charges. And somehow our guys actually found a way to enable roaming feel at home service in 16, 17 countries. Not necessarily where we operate in those countries, like US or Spain or France, but still somehow people can roam those places. But by the way, these slides are not for promotion or anything, please. You know, it's just like what journey we've been through. That's all I'm trying to. And then we launched our femto network in 2012 or 13, and for indoor coverage, because we have got 2.1 gigahertz network. It is really challenging to get indoors, the coverage indoors, like O2 or Vodafone do. They have got 900 megahertz, and it is quite a big difference between coverage point of view. So we had to do we had to come up with some ideas, and femto deployment was one of the solutions. And then eventually we launched our 3 in touch, which is voice over Wi-Fi, voice and text over Wi-Fi. So the customers can do still voice calls over their Wi-Fi. And we are now today, this year, with LTE network, of course, making big difference in the data communication. We started to deploy 1800 megahertz and 800 megahertz spectrum. So the capacity in the network started to increase because 3G was a bit stretched. We were putting significant amount of data on 3G network. But it has done a fantastic job for us. HSDPA was really extremely successful. 99% of network is data. When we look back, we used to say, oh, voice calls, the congestion on the voice calls. Now, we don't really talk about voice congestion. It's all data. And a significant amount of volume goes through our network. And now, if you remember the first days, now people are on the train or buses. They surf the net or download or watch movies or you know, I think people are getting a bit more active, where they are supposed to be a bit more relaxing. But that's different story again. Different cultures, not only in the UK or Japan and Korea. If you visited those countries, they are just incredible everywhere. We also use mobile where we are not supposed to. Riding bike or in the car, even sending text when you are driving. But it is part of life now. People cannot really somehow. And cameras. You know, who bought a camera last? I heard somebody did, but you know, I mean, it is kind of not really heard of. I mean, I haven't bought a camera for many years. And of course, oh gosh, again this guy. So if that's now today. The previous one is not even in the picture. We don't even consider it as a data volume in our network. 2008 is not shown here. It's very small. So the traffic kept going on. And how did it happen? It all happened because of HSDPA and iPhone and Android success. And the smartphones made huge amount of difference in the network. I know that actually, I hear that in many conferences or many seminars, yes, 3G is this and that, so many positives and negatives, but actually everybody in the world today is running an HSDPA network, and there's a huge amount of volume, data volume going through those networks. And this mobilization of internet happened because of HSDPA. It's not 4G, it is not 5G or 10G, it is 3G HSDPA made it happen. Customers are now using, and we kind of know roughly what they are using, but everything is open to internet, of course, and huge amount of video. Reliability is a big requirement from customers' point of view. Is it the speed, 100 megabit per second or 1 gigabit per second? You can question about, but reliability. If somebody presses that button on the mobile, they should get something, whatever it is. That's what matters for the customers, which is related to coverage, capacity, and the speed altogether. And coverage plays huge amount of role in that. I go fast on this, and I'm not going to, spoil your presentation, and I just, and then speed is growing, increasing every day. But again, from our point of view, for 3G point of view, we believe the reliability is the key. I mean, we believe 3G, especially HSPA, has been a great platform for mobilization of internet. It enabled operators to change the landscape. Suddenly from voice and text-centric kind of mobile environment to people just were free, access to internet. Again, exactly the same story. I left, I didn't even bother printing out my directions here because I knew the postcode was in there. I clicked on this, went to Google Maps, and then directions, bang, it was telling me exactly where to go. And this didn't happen. All right, maybe I was on 4G or 3G, I don't know, but it was the HSDPA which enabled us. Thank you very much. I hope it gave you some kind of flavor of 3G.